Hey everyone! Today we have something pretty cool going on. Chelsea, you want to tell them what we're doing?
Yeah, we're going to talk about Georgia O'Keeffe. So what comes to your mind when you think about Georgia O'Keeffe?
Do I have to say it?
I have to say it. I know what you're thinking.
Is it the pussy flowers?
Yes. She's very known for her very vaginal depictions of flowers. But she didn't always depict vaginal flowers. She's very rare when it comes to artists. Most artists are born in like New York or Chicago. She was just born in good old Wisconsin on a dairy farm with like 50 brothers and sisters. Even though she was on a dairy farm, she just always knew she wanted to be a painter. And eventually she was in New York for painting school.
Also, I do want to cut in and say that my favorite Georgia O'Keeffe painting is a landscape and not one of those flowers.
Is it vaginal?
Yeah, it could be. It's a little yeah, it's a little vaginal.
If you're looking at a Georgia O'Keeffe painting and you don't see a vagina, you're probably looking at it wrong and you should feel bad for yourself for not seeing the vagina.
That's a hot take. Audience, what do you think? Comment below.
She didn't always paint vaginas.
Well, yeah, I mean, my image of her is as a painter and a feminist. Those are like synonymous for my thoughts about her.
So when she was in art school, she was very influenced by the works of Arthur Dow, who believed that you should paint or depict the essence of something and the feeling of something rather than the exact thing itself. So she made these charcoal drawings, and somebody stole her charcoal drawings and gave them to this guy, Alfred Stieglitz. And at first she was mad, but Stieglitz was like, "These are brilliant. I want to work with you." And then Georgia O'Keeffe entered into this business slash sexual slash eventually they got married relationship with this guy, Alfred Stieglitz. It was very scandalous because he was married and he had to get divorced. It was in the early 1900s, and they lived together before they were married, which was like super controversial back then. But it turns out their relationship was definitely not perfect. She really wanted to have a baby, and he was like, absolutely no babies. She had multiple nervous breakdowns and was hospitalized. He released a bunch of nude photographs of her.
So are you saying that Stieglitz started an OnlyFans for Georgia O'Keeffe?
No, they were very public. It was like very public imagery.
Not just fans.
No, everybody was seeing her boobs. I mean, you can look it up. I put the link in your notes. You can click on it.
Oh, thank you. Thank God. I needed to see it. I was gonna Google it, but if they're linked in the notes.
This was a collaborative project, but he saw it as a way of promoting her. She did not sound entirely complicit. She was like, well, at first he wanted to take pictures of me in front of my paintings, and then he had me wear less clothes.
None of these are in front of her paintings. None of the ones I'm looking at.
It was like when you put a frog in a pot of water and you boil it slowly.
Yeah.
Women didn't really have a lot of say back then, and he was a very controlling partner. So that's like how her relationship went. She didn't talk a lot about her own feelings. She was heavily influenced by her landscape in her painting. She would always paint what was around her. She started to experiment with abstraction, which is when you get all these flowery flowers.
Wild looking flowers.
Very zoomed in. So I gave you images of so like the first image is a calla lily. I'm like a horticulture person, so I was like, I've never seen a calla lily that close up before. If you scroll down, like that's how you'd normally see a calla lily. Same with this picture, this red canna. I've seen this image so many times.
Oh,
Tracked
wow.
red lines. I was like, oh shit, that's supposed to be a canna? I've never seen a canna that close up.
Very intimate painting of this flower.
Ours are sexual organs.
Flowers are,
Admit.
yeah. They are multiple sexual organs, right? They're both the male and female parts.
Despite all of her flower paintings looking vaginal,
Who said that? Who said that they look vaginal?
despite is looking like vaginas, she was like, nope. She's like, what are you guys talking about? These aren't vaginas.
I mean, they are flowers. They aren't vaginas.
She was
She-
she always denied being a feminist. Then she did get upset because people were saying that, oh, she's just painting flowers because that's women like flowers. And they were like, women tend to speak from their childbearing nature and they speak from their womb.
yeah, that's fascinating though that she came out and was like, "No, these are sexual in nature."
She didn't outright say it. She did not
Oh.
say it. She just started to paint other things.
Oh. Okay. All right.
That was
So
when she started to paint like New York. She eventually moved to New Mexico and started to paint a lot of bones and New Mexican landscapes.
I think actually that's what I know her most for, the skull paintings.
I really like Georgia O'Keeffe because, first considered, she's the mother of American modernism, and she was also truly American. You know, I feel
Mm.
like it's very trendy right now to shit all over America. But despite its political flaws and societal flaws, we still do have these great, fantastic landscapes that
Oh,
a lot of countries do not have.
America has, if I can say just one good thing about
Yeah.
America, we have some of the best national parks in the world. If you have a chance to go to any of them, they're all amazing.
She got upset because she was like, okay, these great American poets and great American playwrights and great American photographers have never been past the Hudson River. You guys have to go actually see America.
Yeah, there are a lot of artists that go back to the Great American West. Kind of a timeless place.
She was very bold with her brushstrokes. She had been taught that she should use these very light, detailed, feathery strokes, you know, and then she was like, screw that, I'm getting out the big brush. Some of these, especially this landscape, Lake George Reflections, I just want to
One.
be like, come on.
One is that?
Can't say you're not a feminist and you're painting stuff like that.
Which one is that?
One at the way
Oh,
bottom.
obviously that is a feminist painting.
Yeah.
I can immediately see, and if you zoom in to the right-hand corner, it actually says, "This is feminism."
Really?
No, I'm making that up.
I
You were like,
How
"Oh
did
my
I
god,
miss
you
that?
just discovered something incredible about Georgia O'Keeffe. She was a feminist."
That's all the big stuff. I've done like one painting a few years ago that was half inspired by her, half inspired by Yayoi Kusama.
Yeah, I see what is this the one that you shared?
Yeah, I was like dots, and then it was gonna be a lot more Ionic.
Is it supposed to be a person? Is it just supposed to be an abstract?
Yeah, so it was supposed to be like the eyes, like the clit.
Oh, so this was purposefully vaginal. Okay, I see it. I get it now.
It's heavily inspired by one below it. Maybe Georgia O'Keeffe was just trying to convince us all we're pervs. Cause look at this painting, white and blue flower shapes. It's on page 12. Come on, like
That is not a flower. I mean, what kind of flower is that supposed to be?
abstract.
I don't know.
You know, when you think of Georgia O'Keeffe, a ton of paintings might come to mind, but for me, it's not one specific painting. It's an era of paintings. This is the only memory I have of learning about Georgia O'Keeffe in school whatsoever. And it was in 6th grade. We were learning about like the great American painters. And then somebody was like, "Who's Georgia O'Keeffe?" And then my teacher said, "She painted flowers."
I mean, we definitely talked about Georgia O'Keeffe when I was in school. I don't know. I have no memory of when, and I definitely don't remember what was said about her.
Okay. Let's do our send off. Thanks for learning about Georgia O'Keeffe with me, Noah.
That was very fascinating and extremely interesting. All right,
All
thanks
right.
for watching
Thanks
the
for
video.
watching. Like and subscribe.
Yeah, I guess we're at 18, right?
Yeah, so we can get to 20.
You
Let's
can
get to
do it. I
20.
believe in you. Woot
Yeah.
woot.